Mr. Fonzone, you can't have meaningful discussions about reauthorizing 702 when government reports and court opinions are heavily redacted and hidden from the public. Will you commit to declassifying information about the Fisa abuses and procedures before the 702 reauthorization deadline? And if you can't say yes to that, why not?
Yes, Senator, thank you. I think we have recently released a FISC opinion that declassified and a bunch of information, and the law already requires us to review FISC opinions for classification and release them to the public, and we're committed to making more information public about Section 702 to assist Congress and the public in its consideration of renewing this authority.
Mr. Olson, I heard you say in your opening statement about processes you're taking to make sure that people that are abused or people that abuse this process are going to be held accountable. You heard about the 278,000 times that it was violated. What is the Justice Department doing to punish folks who have already abused Fisa?
Senator, thank you for that question. And again, compliance includes rules and procedures, but it only works if you have accountability. And that's why the FBI has instituted a comprehensive approach to accountability for the agents and analysts who use Fisa but abuse the rules. It's on a spectrum. For intentional misuse, agents and analysts can be fired. In fact, one person was fired for wrongfully violating the rules intentionally with respect to Fisa. But the vast majority of the mistakes we've seen are not intentional, and the FBI has announced today, Deputy Director Abate talked about a 3 strikes approach of escalating penalties that include notes in a personnel file, loss of access to Fisa data, and other measures, including retraining, to ensure that individuals are tracked over time if they're repeat offenders. There's again a range of repercussions and discipline, and I know the Deputy Director and the Director of the FBI take this very seriously.
Okay. Mr. Abate, I'd like to have you describe for me the process and procedure that the FBI should normally follow when receiving criminal allegations from a trusted FBI source that an office holder engaged in bribery. For example, if the allegations include reference to evidence that would prove or disprove the bribery scheme, would standard procedure, operating procedure require the FBI to seek out that evidence?
Senator, in any instance where we receive information, an allegation, or a complaint, we apply the standards on the Attorney General guidelines and our DIOG and determine whether the information received, the allegation, the complaint meets the threshold for the opening of an investigation. We consult appropriately with our field office, with our program management elements at headquarters, with our Office of General Counsel, and then we take it from there based on the information, whether it meets the standard.
So that's the investigation process that should have been followed with respect to the 1023. Apparently that process wasn't followed. For the sake of restoring credibility, the FBI must explain itself sooner rather than later. Mr. Olson, this is my last question. The Washington Post reported your involvement in Mar-a-Lago raid. It wrote that, quote, FBI agents on the case worried that prosecutors were being overly aggressive. And further quote, Olson appealed to senior officials in FBI headquarters to push their agents to conduct the raid. Did you communicate with senior officials at FBI headquarters to push their agents to search Mar-a-Lago?
Senator, our solemn responsibility in every case is to follow the facts and the law, and to do so without fear and favor. We are absolutely committed to the impartial administration of justice and to upholding the rule of law, which includes applying the law equally to everybody. As I'm sure you can appreciate, that matter is under the auspices of the Office of the Special Counsel, and I'm not going to comment further on it.
Is the Washington Post right or wrong?
So that's a matter that's pending, and it's an ongoing matter, and it's being handled by the Office of the Special Counsel. So I'm sure you can understand that I'm not going to comment further.
Okay, thank you. I yield.
Senator Klobuchar. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, all of you, for your good work. I'll start with you, Deputy Director Cohen. I know Senator Whitehouse asked Mr. Olson about the use of 702 when it comes to drug trafficking, and I wanted to kind of dig down on that, just because we're seeing more and more fentanyl kill people, and also more available on the internet, sometimes, many times unknowingly, when people are purchasing other pills that shouldn't be on those platforms. Without getting into specifics, how has data collected under Section 702 been used to disrupt trafficking networks and prevent fentanyl and its precursor chemicals from entering our communities? What work is being done?
Thank you for that question, Senator Klobuchar. So we use Section 702 collection on foreign persons overseas, query the database to identify individuals tied to organizations that are involved in drug trafficking and in fentanyl production in particular. It helps us illuminate where the precursor chemicals are coming from, often from China, how those chemicals get to overseas, oftentimes to Mexico, not invariably, but oftentimes to Mexico, as well as how some of the pill presses that are used to manufacture fentanyl are acquired, again, overseas and brought into Mexico for use, including by organizations such as the Sinaloa cartel.
And I think that's really important to know for those just talking to families who have lost kids who purchasing drugs on the internet, that the platforms are being used by these cartels. You don't have to go into that, but these cartels are actually involved in this. So it's not like they can get all their justice in the U.S. And in order to stop this, we're going to have to stop it from coming in, the ingredients and some of the other substances. Is that correct?
That's correct, Senator.
Okay. Deputy Director Abate, I appreciated Senator Durbin's words about making sure that these reforms continue and that they are, I appreciated what you announced today, and that there'll be changes to the existing 702 authority. Could you talk about how the reforms the FBI implemented resulted in measurable improvements in the FBI's compliance, number one, and then number two, is there a lag in the publicly available data such that the most recent FISC Section 702 certification does not accurately inform the public?
Thank you, Senator. Yes, with respect to the reforms that we've already put in place, as the Assistant Attorney General noted, we've seen significant progress. Just the one that Mr. Olson cited on having our personnel opt in year over year resulted in a 90-something% decrease in overall U.S. person queries. So we've seen significant progress there, along with the other reforms that we've implemented. On batch queries, which are anything more than one, we had put in place a requirement that for any batch queries over 100, it require attorney review from our Office of General Counsel. I've taken that even further now because I saw some recent examples, again, where I was disappointed in the compliance error. So we've actually cut that down now so that any batch query of any number is going to require attorney review from our Office of General Counsel going forward. We're also requiring written justifications for our personnel when they're endeavoring to make a U.S. person query. And we're going to continue to iterate on that. We view it as an ongoing process, and we're open to any and all further reforms in working with the committee and members here. And we're not going to stop until we've achieved 100% compliance.
Okay. I was going to ask Mr. Olson if you wanted to add anything, but before that, quick, how has the FBI used Section 702 to critical infrastructure and businesses to protect them from ransomware and other cyber threats? Because we certainly have been seeing a surge in those.
Yes, Senator. As we said, it's a vital tool. Some examples have already been provided. It's with regularity that we see that. It's helped us literally identify potential victims in the United States, both individuals and companies who are either being targeted for cyber attack or in the midst of an attack, already have been. It's allowed us to get in front of that. particularly with regard to our critical infrastructure, to warn victim companies before they're hit and prevent the harm from occurring from adversaries like China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. And it's been, without it, we would not have been able to achieve that goal. And,
Okay,
to
because you
protect our
had some
country,
major
protect people.
prosecutions. Could I just, just ask Mr. Olson, it appeared he had something you wanted to add on the reform front?
If I may, just 2 quick points, Senator. One, on your cyber question, one example is the notorious Colonial Pipeline attack, where 702 collection helped us both identify the hacker and it enabled us to recover most of the ransom money that had been paid. Secondly, your question about the certification and the FISC opinions, there is a 2023 opinion that is now going through the declassification process that will come out shortly, and which does identify some additional improvements in FBI compliance. Not 100%, there are still problems and things that we're still working on. That's part of the deal, but it does identify that the
không đi tìm người yêu lý tưởng đâu anh, em không đi tìm người yêu tuyệt đối đâu anh, em không đi tìm người yêu nhan sắc mỹ miều, người yêu đai các cao sang, lụa lá gấm hoa vàng son. Em không đi tìm người yêu đôi trắng thay đen, em không đi tìm người yêu say đắm xa hoa, em không đi tìm người yêu cao quý ngọc ngà, lầu cao xe các anh ơi, có gì vẫn luôn vững bền. Anh ơi, em tìm người yêu chung thủy, em tìm người yêu trong mơ, dẫu nghèo nguyện không đổi lòng. Anh ơi, biết rằng ở đời ai không muốn đẹp giàu và cao sang, vì em nghèo đâu dám mơ. Anh ơi, em tìm người yêu không ước mơ cao, anh ơi em tìm người yêu thương mái tranh xiêu. Mãi đây cho dù rằng đời góc bế chân trời, cuộc đời bão táp phong ba, suốt đời có nhau bên mình. Không đi tìm người yêu lý tưởng đâu anh, em không đi tìm người yêu tuyệt đối đâu anh, em không đi tìm người yêu nhan sắc mỹ miều, người yêu đai các cao sang, lụa lá gấm hoa vàng son. Em không đi tìm người yêu đôi trắng thay đen, em không đi tìm người yêu say đắm xa hoa, em không đi tìm người yêu cao quý ngọc ngà, lầu cao xe các anh ơi, có gì vẫn luôn vững bền. Anh ơi, em tìm người yêu chung thủy, em tìm người yêu trong mơ, dẫu nghèo nguyện không đổi lòng. Anh ơi, biết rằng ở đời ai không muốn giàu và cao sang, vì em nghèo đâu dám mơ. Anh ơi em tìm người yêu không ước mơ cao, anh ơi em tìm người yêu thương mái tranh xiêu. Mai đây cho dù rằng đời góc bế chân trời, cuộc đời bão táp phong ba, suốt đời có nhau bên mình. Mai đây cho dù rằng đời góc bế chân trời, cuộc đời bão táp